Welcome back. You're watching To The Point. It's only rarely that politicians surprise us, but yesterday when Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti used foul language at an election rally, she clearly crossed all limits of tolerance. Even her party was unable to defend her. But is a simple apology sufficient to end the matter? Or does she need to resign? Should the Prime Minister sack her if she doesn't? And are there grounds for filing an FIR? With me to discuss this depressing incident is BJP Delhi spokesperson Aijaz Ilmi, former Congress Minister in the Delhi government Kiran Walia, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Ashish Khaitan, and the executive editor of Headlines Today, Javed Ansari. Aijaz Ilmi, yesterday at a rally, Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti said, आपको तय करना है कि दिल्ली में सरकार रामजादों की बनेगी या हरामजादों की. ये आपका फैसला है. Thereafter, she defended what she said on ANI, and it was only when the opposition erupted in anger in Parliament that she was forced to apologize. So let me ask you, is her apology a genuine, heartfelt apology, or is it just brought about under duress?
What she said was totally unacceptable and has been condemned by everybody, including the party itself, by all spokespersons and everybody else. The fact that she was upbraided, pulled up and asked to apologize in both houses of parliament is in keeping with the spirit of parliamentary democracy, and she's apologized and she's expressed regret. Nobody can condone what she said, but the fact that she's apologized, and we need to actually understand that she was asked to apologize, she's done it. And this time, whether you want to continue with this...
You're making my point for me. She was asked to apologize, and she's done it. Therefore, this is not heartfelt. This is not of her volition. This is under duress.
It's understandable. What she said is unacceptable. And obviously, the party understood that what she was way out of line.
It's unacceptable, but she continues
she was
to be
way
a
out of line. She was way out of line, and she's apologized. But the fact, it's a healthy precedent.
But you're not answering my question.
Yes.
You're not answering my question. It may well be a healthy precedent, but it's happened under duress. Is it a heartfelt, sincere apology?
That only she can answer. Only Sadhvi herself.
Her party is not in a position to say so.
The party has asked to apologize.
Look at me. Answer me. I'm asking you the question.
Yes. The party asked her to apologize, and she immediately did apologize.
But is this a heartfelt apology?
Well, I'm not Sadhvi, and this question should go to Sadhvi.
Very interesting. Yes. The party spokesman can't confirm that the lady is apologizing with sincerity. You're saying that.
I'm saying the lady is apologizing in both the floors of the House, which is a healthy precedent and keeping it safe with democracy.
Not voluntarily.
The word duress is your word. It's not my word. She was asked to apologize because
asked to apologize is the word, isn't it? That's under duress.
Yes,
under duress. Asked to apologize.
She didn't apologize on her own. She was asked to.
You were putting two and two together. But
normally people do put two and two together.
Yes,
it's quite a normal, logical thing to do.
In this scenario, she apologized, and that's a healthy sign.
Kiran Walia, many people would say for a minister to have to stand up in public, in both houses of parliament, and to apologize in the language she did, is pretty humiliating enough. Why is that not sufficient for Congress? Why are you now going one step further and demanding the Sadhvi resign?
I am demanding. I'm here as a spokesperson, and I think that what she has done is so severely condemnable. I've not heard in recent political processes, such a statement that is so shameful for the nation. And I would say it here now for all the listeners, that she should not only resign, whatever can be invoked in terms of law needs to be invoked. Because it is not an isolated incident. That's the point that I wish to make. It's a pattern. Whether it is Adityanath, whether it's Mr. Amit Shah, the party president, whether it is anybody you call, Giriraj Singh, most atrocious statements.
Don't interrupt each other.
And surprisingly, the Prime Minister, excuse me, is grossly, in fact, just glossing over all this.
Okay.
That is very unfortunate. When he addresses the youth, he talks of development, he talks of infrastructure, he goes outside addressing the world. He thinks the whole world is one universe, one family that he talks about. He talks about Panchsheel, but he's missing the basic point, and that is that India is not a country which he thinks he can divide and win.
Let me stop you there. I want to keep this focus.
Raving and ranting allegations have to be addressed too.
Please wait your turn. Yes. I will come to you again, but let others have their chance to speak as well. Yes. Ashish Khaitan, in January, Somnath Bharti, who at the time was law minister, misbehaved with African women. As a result, he's now been charge sheeted with molestation, outraging a woman's modesty, criminal intimidation, and promoting enmity. At the time, Mr. Bharti didn't resign. He didn't even apologize. How is the Sadhvi's behavior any worse? How are you in a position to make any criticism of the Sadhvi when you defended Mr. Bharti?
I would like to make 3 points right at the start of the debate to demonstrate that how this instance should not be compared with any other instance. Forget Bharti episode or for that matter any other instance. One, there is a pattern. BJP spokespersons, BJP MPs, affiliated organizations to BJP, saffron organizations, they have been trying to communalize the atmosphere. And just before the elections, you see provocative statements made with an intent.
What was Mr. Bharti doing? Was he not making
elections.
a racist situation?
Can I just make
Is
my
that not
point?
as bad as communalizing?
Can I just complete my points? Yeah, I'll just complete my points.
Quickly, because I'd like you to answer my point instead.
Stalwarts, Sadhvi Niranjan, Yogi Adityanath, and now a sitting minister in the central government has made a provocative statement.
Hang on a moment. Somnath Bharti was a sitting minister in your government. He was law minister when he misbehaved with African women.
Should be debated.
And he is also charged with promoting
without
enmity.
Drawing any analogy with instances of the past. Now, I'll come to that point.
But come to it quickly because we haven't got all day. If the Sadhvi doesn't resign, and she shows no sign of it so far, should she be sacked?
Absolutely, and not just be sacked. Leave alone not asking her to resign. She has still not been, she still continues to be a star campaigner for the BJP. She's not been pulled out of the campaign. And there are a lot of people who believe that there was a method behind what happened. There is a strategy, and that strategy is that she's being built into another Sadhvi Niranjan. Let's not forget, she used to ride pillion with Sadhvi Niranjan in Uttar Pradesh. She's now being pitched as a successor to Sadhvi Niranjan, and come UP elections, she will be the Hindutva, yet another Hindutva icon in the UP election.
I want to come to that second point that Javed Ansari has made in a moment's time, but first, Ajaz, let me put this to you. Speaking in the Rajya Sabha today, Sitaram Yechuri has said that the Sadhvi is guilty of breaching section 153A of the Indian Penal Code, which is a section that applies when you deliberately take steps that end up promoting enmity. He says that her apology is an admission of guilt. He therefore demands that an FIR be filed against her. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think Sitaram Yechury's...
Look at me, I'm asking the question.
Sitaram Yechury's statement was explained and countered by Mr. Arun Jaitley in Parliament itself. If Yechury has to file a complaint under 153A of promoting enmity, he's free. He can absolutely jolly well go and file a complaint. But the fact is, what happened inside Parliament, she apologized inside Parliament, which is a healthy precedent, and I think matters should rest there.
Well, no, matters won't rest there, because I don't think in these matters an apology is forgiveness. And a minister is supposed to set a standard. Mr. Modi has committed himself that his ministers will set that standard. If this lady will not voluntarily resign, why does Mr. Modi not sack her? At the end of the day, it's his government, and it's his reputation, and it's his commitment to transparency that is at stake. That's more important than the Sadhvi.
Well, what Sadhvi said has been condemned by one and all, including by everybody in the BJP. Hers is not the stated policy or not in consonance with the stated policy.
Not by Mr. Modi. He is conspicuous by his silence on this matter.
In the parliamentary party, he hauled her up. He asked for her to apologize immediately. Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, in fact, spoke to her and she apologized in both the houses of Parliament.
Does the Prime Minister not have a duty to address the country when one of his ministers is guilty of one of the most heinous possible lapses, to explain that he A, doesn't condone it, B, he criticizes it, and C, he distances his government from it? It's a duty he owes the country.
But who told you that he hasn't asked?
He's silent. No one's heard him say anything.
I mean, if you don't know about it, but the fact that she's apologized...
There's no point saying things behind closed doors. You need to say it in public so the country can hear.
Well, you heard, every MP was there when it was said in the parliament.
So behind closed doors to MPs, say it to the nation.
Who are the MPs? They represent the nation, the elected members of the nation only.
Just a moment.
Yes.
Said behind closed doors means it stays behind closed doors. When said in public, it gets heard by the country.
It's been widely reported in the media right from 11:30 onwards.
Through sources, which is a different matter.
Karan, what she said was in public. Upbraiding her, allegedly upbraiding her in private remains private. What stops the Prime Minister? This Prime Minister is supposed to be the best communicator this country has produced. What prevents him from coming forward and publicly upbraiding her? And why doesn't the BJP pull her out of this campaign?
Absolutely. But I'll come to that in a moment's time. Let me for a moment stick to what sort of action should be taken, Kiran Walia, against the Sadhvi. If the government is not itself going to initiate action to file an FIR, and some would say that it's a bit much to expect the government to file an FIR against its own ministers, do you think that the police should do it? Or do you think even if the police won't, because they come under the government, the people present at the rally should do it? In fact, at the end of the day, anyone can do it if they want. So why doesn't someone from your party do it?
And the people present in the rally or the police, it is not an issue. It has to be done, because unless this is checked in time, I am afraid Delhi's peace is going to be destroyed. Whether it is Trilokpuri, whether it is Bhavana, for 16 years we never heard of such incidents. People coming up with Trishuls and saying, "Is gali se ye nahi jayega, yahan se taziye nahi niklenge, yahan se ye nahi niklega." This so most provocative things are happening and being said. The church is burnt in mysterious circumstances. So this is what if Delhi is going to be. Excuse me, Mr. Modi should know that cleanliness is not just about streets.
But
cleanliness is about how pure your hearts are.
But
and this is what they understand of Hinduism. Hinduism has Upanishads, universality of principles.
This is not about Hinduism. This
yes.
is about who will take the first step to take action against the Sadhvi. Will someone from the Congress party file an FIR if you feel so strongly about this matter and you believe that police action is necessary? Will you, or will someone from your party take that critical step?
It is Congress is absolutely within its rights to do it, but it is the citizens.
Absolutely,
it can be anybody, Mr. Karan. One thought has to go into it as to who will do it. So it is not for me on the channel to say that this is like instant coffee, we do it in next 2 minutes. But at the same time, we are totally grieved about it, and we are committed to saving and protecting
in your position.
the secular traditions of this country.
You believe action should be taken, but you can't quite work out whether your party will take that action or not. It doesn't seem that you're actually living up to what you're saying.
This can be worked out. This can be worked out, but it doesn't have to
be worked out. You make it sound like a mathematical puzzle that needs a lot of effort. Things don't need to be worked out. Where there's a will, there's a way. Get up and go and file the police complaint now.
The process has to be initiated, and Mr. Karan, I can assure you, we're not going to disappoint you.
Okay, Ashish
Kesar,
this is a case where many people believe the Sadhvi, as a member of parliament, has brought parliament into disrepute by her behavior. It is a slur on the way in which all MPs are now going to be perceived by the Indian public. Therefore, is this a case where the Parliamentary Ethics Committee should suo moto investigate and possibly take action against the Sadhvi?
Absolutely. I mean, the Parliament's Ethics Committee can look into the matter, and the courts can also initiate the matter, and I mean, either suo moto by the courts or the police for that matter can file a complaint or an FIR against her. But you know, this unsincere apology is only one part of the debate. The fact is that the BJP is succeeding in its design, because this is exactly the kind of debate that BJP wants in the run-up to the Delhi elections, because BJP doesn't want to debate on the most pressing issues of Delhi, which is corruption, inflation, electricity, power tariff, water, lack of development, jobs, which we are doing. Aam Aadmi Party through Delhi Dialogue is engaging in a very meaningful dialogue with the people of Delhi, and wants to have a debate on the most intractable issues of Delhi that have remained unsolved over the last 10 or 15 years under the Congress regime, and also the corrupt regime of BJP and MCD. We want to have a dialogue on the most pressing issues, the issues which really concern the people of Delhi, and BJP is succeeding in its design by making this election a communal election. First Bhavana, then before that Trilokpuri, and now this.
I understand.
So there is a deliberate design.
Let me bring in others on this charge that there is a deliberate design. Before I go to Ejaz, let me ask you this. You're a close...
Excuse me, these hate speeches lead to what Muzaffarnagar type of a situation, where people who were responsible for it were honored on public fora. So this is what the Bharatiya Janata Party stands for.
All right, let me stop you there. I want to come back to these gentlemen here, and then I'll come to you in a moment's time, Mrs. Walia. You're a very present person. You keep your ear close to the ground. Do you genuinely believe that this is part of a design, that it is part of an attempt to polarize the situation in Delhi so that the BJP can gain electorally from it? Or is that just prejudiced comment?
I'm inclined to go by that view. because if look at the evidence. When a UP election has to happen, you suddenly discover love jihad. When Lok Sabha goes to polls, there's a Muzaffarnagar happens. When there are by-elections happening, things, everybody starts talking of it. Suddenly you discover that Tazias are a problem. Delhi has a tradition. There have been, people have lived together. The instances just lend credence to that. And what is the domain expertise that Sadhvi Jyoti brings? That she's been rewarded with a ministership. What is her expertise? In which field is she as an expert in? Obviously, she's been rewarded for what she is. There is a larger strategy in place, and that strategy is to pitchfork her as a Hindutva icon. She is from Uttar Pradesh. She belongs to a backward past. So maybe what Sadhvi Ritabra cannot do, Sadhvi Jyoti will do.
That's a charge that many people passionately believe. And look at the build-up that you got from Javed Ansari. Before the national elections, Muzaffarnagar happens, right? Then love jihad before the by-elections in UP. Now the Sadhvi is making the same sort of irresponsible, potentially communalizing comment in Delhi before the Delhi elections. Is the BJP, and I'm saying this with great concern, deliberately polarizing communities because it believes that is the best way of maximizing the Hindu vote behind it?
I totally disagree with this, because you're just looking at it as a vote bank, as a Hindu vote bank, from the prism of Hindu and Muslim. In the middle of all your entire analogy and the build-up that Javed Ansari talked about, you missed out the Haryana election, you missed out the Maharashtra election, you missed out the Jammu and Kashmir election, which is happening now, and the Jharkhand election. So a lot of jigsaw puzzle is missing from your diatribe that you're...
No, what were you saying before the Jammu Kashmir election, 370? Now suddenly you realize...
No, we always said, our manifesto said that we will discuss it, we would like to debate it, whether it's benefited. So it's very clear that you definitely have your own view, but the party has its own view, and I have my own view also. Which is very clearly, these allegations that you're putting forward, the agenda is primary. You can't win in this country. You can't win in this country unless you focus on development and what the people of the state want.
I'm very glad to hear that. I wish I could hear those words from the Sadhvi as well. The speech she gave yesterday had little to do with development, a lot to do with Robert Vadra, and very personalized and rather unbecoming attacks on an individual because he happens to be Sonia Gandhi's damad. Would you apologize for that as well as a party?
No, I will not apologize for Sadhvi. Yes, I hope that the level of discourse becomes much better. Elections, some of the worst things are said during elections by all parties, including
Does your party endorse those comments about Robert Vadra?
Does your party very abnormal things? Yes.
Does your party endorse those comments, or do you criticize those comments about Robert Vadra?
I'm here to discuss Sadhvi's
But those are Sadhvi's comments.
Yes, Sadhvi's comments have been condemned, and that's what is important.
But I'm just asking for clarity. Do you endorse or do you criticize and condemn the comments about Robert Vadra?
What Sadhvi said, that Robert Vadra's deals and things like that, I mean, she is speaking to the public, and the public has to endorse or not endorse. I mean, I have nobody to endorse what Sadhvi is saying.
You're sounding very shifty suddenly.
No, I'm not.
You're not giving me a clear answer.
No, it's been a matter of debate. It's Robert Vadra has to answer for his own doings or undoings.
It sounds very much as if you
should I
support and stand by what the Sadhvi said.
No, Sadhvi is addressing a public meeting in the run-up to Delhi elections. What she said, allegations based on what she perceives, but what she said about the comment which is foul-mouthed expletives, I've already said to you, it's
crystal clear.
Yes.
You're distancing yourself from the rather nasty comments about Ramzado and Haramzado, but you are not distancing yourself from the comments about Robert Vadra. Let me come to you, Kiran Walia. I want to put this to you. Clearly, we've lost Kiran Walia. All right, Ashish Khetan, I'll put that same question to you. Clearly, we've got to a situation where you believe that the BJP is deliberately stirring the cauldron, so to speak, in Delhi because it believes that a warmer, hotter, more explosive communal atmosphere will produce results. How do you, since you are probably the real target and not Congress, how do you propose to respond to this sort of atmosphere that's being created?
See, we have a blueprint ready for Delhi, and you must be aware of this exercise we have started called Delhi Dialogue, where we have identified 10 big issues of Delhi: health and education, corruption, lack of development, lack of jobs, to make Delhi a retail and tourism hub, to make Delhi safe and secure for women, and so on. And we are having a sustained dialogue with the citizens of Delhi. So we are going to respond by laying out a blueprint for Delhi, how we are going to make Delhi a livable city over the next 5 years. We have a leadership. We have a chief ministerial candidate in Arvind Kejriwal. We almost have a cabinet ready. We have almost declared all our candidates. 60% of the seats we have candidates today. Congress and BJP are yet to come out even with their first list of candidates. So we have a CM ready, we have a blueprint ready, we have a manifesto ready. And I'm sorry to say that I think that the BJP manifesto is very clear.
Let's not go on to the BJP manifesto. Let's stick to the subject in hand. I've got Mrs. Walia back with me. Mrs. Walia, many people, Ashish Khaitan, Javed Ansari, and I know you and your party believe that the BJP is using Sadhvi as a deliberate ploy, as a deliberate tactic to communalize the atmosphere. If that is genuinely what you believe, how does your party plan to respond to that situation?
Of course, we have been responding, and even the Delhi leaders and everybody, the Pradesh has responded. I am here to respond. I totally believe, and what this Aam Aadmi Party is coming out with is the manifesto, which is not a subject of discussion today. Mr. Kejriwal glossed over what Mr. Somnath Bharti did, and everybody putting a double
issue I've raised. Don't go off to another sidetrack. Mrs. Walia, stick to the issue I've raised. How are you responding? Because earlier you weren't even able to commit yourself to a simple question: will someone from your party file an FIR against the Sadhvi? Now, if you want to respond to a communal situation which could work against you electorally, filing that FIR is a logical and also necessary step. But you won't commit yourself to that. You say you need to work it out as if it's a mathematical puzzle. So I come back. How are you responding to the situation?
Yes. We will leave no stone unturned to see that the issue is addressed, the issue is highlighted, and the Bharatiya Janata Party does not march forward, destroying the nation.
Can you name one single thing you'll do? Because so far you're giving me cliches, no stone unturned. That's meaningless.
When it comes
name
to
one
this,
thing you'll do.
I'm not at the helm of affairs to come and articulate what is the kind of thing that we are going to do tomorrow, but you just wait and see. We are totally opposed to it, and we will leave no stone unturned. That I am saying it on record.
I'm going to come back to Javed Ansari for the last word. Are we heading towards a very dirty, potentially divisive election in Delhi?
I hope not, but I fear that that's the road we are headed. And it will be really sad, because Mr. Modi, there's a template for success. Every time they've spoken of development, every time they've spoken of achievement, they've got a fair degree of success. He's been very successful. If they were to divert and go on to this divisive agenda, then I fear they will meet the same fate as they met in the UP by-elections. And it's not just the BJP, it's incumbent upon all political parties. They owe it to themselves, and they owe it to the electorate to rise above this. I'm sure there are lots of issues they can talk about, but raising such divisive issues of Ramzadeh and Haramzadeh, I mean, they're demeaning themselves.
One last quick question. Derek O'Brien has tweeted that if the Prime Minister doesn't come and make a statement in the Rajya Sabha about the Sadhvi, the House won't function. Are we going to see Parliament paralysed tomorrow as well?
I'd be surprised if it is not, because from whatever I was in Parliament today and whatever I heard the opposition party, perhaps this might be the glue which might bring all of them together. They'll band together, and it could be difficult for Mr. Jaitley to then pass the insurance bill, which they're trying, because they will push it back.
So this is a real test for the BJP. My thanks to both of you for coming to studio. My thanks also to Mrs. Walia as well as Ashish Khaitan for joining me.